my experience of dealing with the king rats that has really helped me, because well, you can see it's starting to get a little bit cranky now. Oh, I don't want to go out. Oh, he got me. Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is absolutely incredible. Today, I'm going to show you guys a handful of snakes that I think are absolutely incredible that you don't see very often. In the sense of, you might see them in our vlog, but they're not really a pet type of snake. And of course, the first one is this Amazon tree boa. Now, people love tree boas because they make really great display animals, but you could definitely see that they're not the type of handling pet that you want. Now, don't get me wrong. If you know what you're doing, you typically can get away without getting bit a little bit, but this guy's a cranky little monkey right now. But the fact is they're really beautiful animals, and they come in a tremendous amount of variety of color and flavors. And basically, you can go from this tiger that's like a yellow, beautiful animal, all the way to like Coke can reds and just all kinds of grays and all kinds of different colors. Woo! The guy's a crazy little dude. But again, these are a tree boa and are really more of a display animal. And these are live-bearing snakes. So this guy is actually hopefully going to father a clutch in about a month and a half or 2 months, because we have a beautiful yellow female that he bred this year that is gravid with babies. They'll typically have anywhere from like 12 up to 20 babies. So it's going to be really cool. And again, this guy is so much fun to work with. But again, typically if you're going to keep something like this, the best thing to do, ow, it finally got me. I was playing with fire that whole time and it finally got me right on the hand. But that's okay, it's really cool. But again, if you're gonna keep an animal like this, it's best to kind of just keep it in his cage and just let it do its thing. Because handling these guys is like handling little firecrackers. And speaking of a firecracker, one of my favorite snakes of all time, of course, would be these mangrove snakes. Now, these guys are native to Thailand, and sometimes they can actually even be, ooh, you don't want to get bit by these guys because they do have a mild venom. Again, it's not that bad, but they can sometimes be confused over in Thailand for the banded crate, which don't really look a lot like this, but for someone that doesn't know the difference, they could look at a mangrove and go, oh my God, it's a banded crate, or vice versa. Now, the vice versa would be a bad deal because the banded crate is deadly and it's a really bad bite. So if you ever picked up a banded crate and thought, oh, it's just a mildly venomous mangrove snake, it could definitely be a big problem. Now, the good news is that this particular animal is typically really docile. I do have a couple mangrove snakes that are pretty feisty, and you don't want to free handle them like this because you might be getting yourself into some trouble. But this particular, this particular animal is usually pretty good, but she just got a little cranky on me here. Oh, okay, gotta be careful. Woo! The thing you gotta be careful of is, see that snake right there? It's wrapped around my wrist right now. And now I can't control it. Whoa. Okay. Woo. But the one thing about handling any snake is to always be calm and try to stay in control. Now, the good news is if you ever do get tagged by a mangrove snake, the worst that really happens is sometimes you can get a little bit of a headache for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then it seems to subside. You can sometimes have some real mild swelling, and then, whew, even a little bit of nausea. But hey, listen, we're not going to take any chances with this guy. Whew, we're not going to take any chances with this guy because I certainly don't want to get bit by something like this. But what a gorgeous snake, huh? Whew. Man, that thing is beautiful. I'm going to be honest with you, I think one of the most impressive snakes in my entire snake collection would happen to be this one right here, because he is so full of energy. Of course, this is a black-tailed Cree. It's one of the largest colubrid snakes in Central America. And just take a look at this monkey here. Look at how big he is and how much energy he has. Now, fortunately, his name is Rico, and he's really a good animal. He's never bit me in the past, although he does wing himself around and do some pretty crazy stuff. So he's super energetic, but take a look. Oh, he's getting me all tied up here. Come on, Rico. Come on, buddy. Take a look at how, woo! Take a look at how gorgeous that snake is right there. And again, you know, he is all power. Now, this is not a constricting snake. So a lot of snakes will hang on and actually like constrict you, like, hey, you're a tree branch. When it comes to the indigos and Cree, they just want to go. And what's kind of weird, when they eat, they don't constrict their prey, so they'll eat it alive. Now these guys will literally eat frogs, rodents, other snakes and everything, and when they eat live rodents, which we never feed Rico, they'll literally just push it up against the wall and kind of crush it against the wall and then eat it alive. So again, this is definitely an impressive snake, but he is definitely a lot of energy. I love him to death. What do you guys think of him? So next up on my bizarre, weird, amazing, cool animals is the Scaleless leucistic Texas rat snake. And again, I'm trying to pick animals that you typically wouldn't see if you went into a pet shop or maybe even a reptile show, things that you don't see very often. And I've certainly showed the Scaleless leucistic Texas rat in the past, but I still think he fits that list really well. So essentially what it is, for those of you guys that haven't seen it, is that the Scaleless is a recessive mutation that basically just takes the scales away from a snake. So it's really weird, and people ask, what does it feel like? Number one, it's really soft. It almost feels like a rubber snake, to be honest with you. It feels really weird. Now, it does still have the belly scales, or what they call subcaudal scales, but it doesn't have any scales on its back. And again, it's a white snake, so it's leucistic, which is another recessive mutation. So this little monkey here is a double recessive mutation that certainly is quite incredible, and I just love him to death. And he produced a bunch of eggs this year, so we should definitely reproduce this little guy and have more little crazy alien snakes like this. So you guys know that I have a handful of reticulated pythons, and I think that they're absolutely one of the most incredible snakes on the planet, because they're one of the biggest snakes on the planet, but they have so much personality, and they are a little bit of a challenge because they get moody. You know, one day they seem to be your best friend, the next day they get a little bit cantankerous, if you know what I mean. But nevertheless, I'm just going to showcase Ricky, because a handful of people have recently said, we haven't seen Ricky in a while. And of course his name is Ricky because he bred Lucy, my big reticulated python. And this guy is just starting to come out of shed, so he's shedding a little bit in my hands here. But reticulated pythons, as you guys know, are, I mean, they can literally get 25 foot long and a few 100 pounds. I mean, Lucy is 19.3 and she's over 220 pounds, so she is a big snake. But Ricky is actually a Jampea dwarf bred into a mainland to get the lavender albino, so he stays a little bit smaller. He's actually like 7 years old, and he's only 10 and a half foot long and pretty slender body. But anyways, I couldn't show off some of the coolest snakes on the planet and not at least mention reticulated pythons, because they certainly are awesome. The next one I want to share with you guys would be this amazing animal. And this animal, ever since I was young and saw him the first time, thought, it didn't even make sense to me. These guys are sometimes called like a red-headed rat snake, a flower rat snake, and sometimes even a trinket snake. But the truth is, they're native to China and northern Vietnam, and they call them 100-flower rat snakes, or Trophiophis melendorfi. I know that's a little Latin term for you guys. I try not to get scientific on you too much because people don't really care, but the fact is, this is a really cool colubrid snake that you don't see very often. And again, I love the fact that it's got that red head, and it goes into this really interesting body pattern, and then it gets into a red tail on the end. So this animal, if you saw it in the wild, you'd almost think like, what the heck? It's got like 3 different color phases, but it's really cool. It's a big colubrid snake too. They get literally like 5 to 8 foot in length, so they're really amazing. And we have a hypomelanistic female that was bred to this male right now that is gravid, about to lay eggs pretty soon. Now their eggs are interesting because not only are they really long and much harder than most eggs, but they actually incubate for almost a month longer than most colubrid snakes. And it's probably because they're from regions that stay kind of cool, so typically they don't get much above maybe 77, 78 degrees in the wild, so they've just kind of adapted to a much slower metabolism. Again, these guys have done really well because they're captive bred. You know, a lot of these are coming out of like the food trade over in China, and it's really hurt the population over there tremendously, so there's not a whole lot of them in the wild anymore, quite frankly. But in captivity, if you can get captive bred ones, they do really, really well in environments that are pretty similar to other colubrid snakes. So hopefully with any luck, we're going to get some baby Moellendorfi or 100-flower rat snakes that are het for hypomelanistic this year. You know what snake I haven't shown you guys in a long time, which I think certainly makes that top 10 of really awesome animals and kind of unusual, would of course be the king rat snake. Now these guys are native to China, and I had the pleasure of meeting some when I was over in China before. Now they can be a little bit crazy to handle. I mean, when they are in a bad mood, they just want to come at you like crazy. As a matter of fact, I have often said that a lot of times when I'm dealing with venomous snakes like elapids, like cobras and taipans, that it's really been my experience of dealing with the king rats that has really helped me. Because, well, you can see it's starting to get a little bit cranky now, guys, so you got to be careful. But you can certainly see that they act kind of more like an elapid, a venomous snake, than they do a non-venomous snake. But again, once these guys start to get angry, it is all on, and this guy is starting to get a little bit cranky right now. Whoa, careful. All right, come on, buddy. And I tell you, they've got, for a little colubrid, they certainly do pack quite a punch. I've been bit by these guys so many times, it's not even funny, but I don't want to go out. Oh, he got me. Okay, it's okay. That's all right, buddy. All right, he just gave me a little nub nip. No major deal at all. But anyways, these guys are awesome and certainly a ton of fun to work with. Woo! Woo! Okay, and wrapping up my kind of little snake extravaganza for you guys would be this little Mex king snake, or what they call a San Luis Potosi mountain king snake. These guys are obviously from Central America, from the San Luis Potosi mountains. Obviously, that's where they get their namesake from. But they're just a really cool little king snake. They've got that really beautiful gray and red, and we work with a couple different varieties of them, like graniting ones. You'll get higher red ones, so they're just really cool. And then again, I'm sorry that this vlog is a little bit different. We're gonna go to work in a second, but every now and then I just like showing you guys snakes. Let me know in the comments if you guys are okay with that. Again, most of the vlogs are gonna be kind of what's happening in our daily lives here, but every now and then I like to just break away and just kind of share the passion with really cool animals and hopefully show off things that you guys don't normally see. Hopefully you've seen some of these snakes and gone, well, I didn't even know those existed, or oh, I remember when Brian showed me a long time ago, but I almost forgot about them, because they're really kind of hidden treasures within our collection, and certainly there are thousands and thousands of snakes that are hidden treasures throughout collections across the world and in the wilds of the world that people don't really appreciate, and I certainly appreciate them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and in the meantime, I'm going to check up with Jessica, because as always, we've got a lot of baby geckos hatching. Back to our normally scheduled day. Let's check in with Jessica and see what kind of geckos we have hatching. There is so many babies. Holy moly, every day is crazy.
Oh, yeah,
oh
a lot
gosh.
today.
Oh my gosh, look at all these crazy geckos. Look at how pretty some of these are. Oh my gosh, they are so cool. So as always, guys, I'm not going to show you everything, but you know, we're going to continue to get these on our website, so we'll make sure to update you that way. But we're just going to take a look at a couple really amazing animals really quick. I just can't even get over how many baby geckos we have hatching. So what do we have?
Man, this one hatched today and it's super cool looking.
Oh my god.
But it's just a snow white and yellow eclipse that's trying to attack you.
what just happened there? So this is just a...
As far as I know, yeah, it just came out of
It's a snow white and yellow...
eclipse.
Oh my gosh. That is so awesome though. I cannot believe...
Which we've produced some. None have looked like that though.
That is crazy. That is... I can't wait till that gets a little size to it. What is this? Ooh,
this is a tangerine patty stripe.
A tangerine patty stripe. Again, you know, the patty stripe is kind of a really cool mutation in itself, and when you add that tangerine to it and gets really orange, it's going to be really crazy. So continuing hatching crazy babies.
Oh yeah, and I have a little story for you guys.
Uh-oh.
I was trying to look at one of these that came out of here, and they wouldn't go back in, and I accidentally tapped someone's tail and they dropped it, and it's squirming around in there.
You can see the tail has all the nerves in them still, and so it'll move around for usually anywhere from like 10 to 20 minutes like that, and that happens. You know, unfortunately, I mean, their tails are so fragile as babies. Is this one of the babies that lost it?
Yeah,
Oh,
and these guys are all siblings. Isn't that one weird looking?
Oh, that is weird. Wow. But you can see the little baby without the tail there. Now, the good news is with geckos is that they regenerated. It doesn't look exactly the same. It'll always look a little bit maybe bulbous or smooth. Wouldn't be as rich. But again, in the course of the year, you're going to have a few that drop their tails. As a matter of fact, Jessica knows when I was setting up babies a couple years ago, I would say every day I'd lose at least one or two tails because I was just so bad at trying to catch them. But this is probably what, the first tail of the year?
Oh yeah, yep, first one. Hopefully no more. Last year I didn't get any.
Oh my gosh, so look at that. She's way ahead of me. So anyways, those are the geckos. I had to update you guys. A lot of really cool ones. And a bunch of people have been asking again, when are they going to be available? The older ones, once they're 2 or 3 weeks old and they've been really established eating, we put them on the website. So there are going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of geckos on our website within the next week or two. So make sure to just kind of keep your eyes on that. So anyways, good job, Jessica. Alrighty, on to the next. Before I move on, I actually wanted to show you that one little gecko. Remember the one that was like a pie gecko and it was just so amazing? It's a total eclipse. Well, look at it since it shed out. I mean, look at how crazy cool. And that's only going to get more pied looking as it gets older. That is going to be one incredible animal. And again, that's a total eclipse. I'm so excited. You know, I have only probably seen about 10 or 15% of what we've produced so far. So one day I'm just going to have to sit down and bring you guys along on opening up hundreds and hundreds of cages. So, oh, and look who come to visit. Hey, Zoe. Zoe.
Come here, Zoe.
Zoe, who you at? Hey, sweetheart. Hi. Hi. And of course, this is Jessica's dog, Zoe. Zoe, you're such a cutie. She's such a tame, like, calm dog compared to Zeus. Both German Shepherds. Zeus is like, by now Zeus would have been barking like crazy. Zoe's just so timid, so she's amazing. All right, so I just went through and checked the colubrids to see if there's any eggs. There's no eggs. So really, that wraps up my responsibility for today here at the shop. I apologize again for this being a little bit unusual vlog. I hope you guys still enjoyed it. I am going to take off and go spend some time with Lori because we only have one day left before Noah and I head out to California for this huge trip. And again, Lori will be keeping you guys updated at the shop while we're vlogging out in California. But I do want to spend some time with her. Plus, I have a bunch of stuff to get ready for. So I'm going to get out of the shop and go meet up with Lori. Scratch that. Remember, I told you guys I was going to check to see if any baby snakes were hatching because they're going to be hatching any day now. I can't possibly leave before I check for baby snakes. Again, they may not have hatched yesterday. I thought for sure we were going to have some hatching because I was like, oh my God, it's like time. And it turned out we didn't have any hatching. So I'm just going to go ahead, pull the clutches down and see what is going on in here. This is the first clutch that should be. Ah! Look at guys, it finally happened. Oh my gosh, look at guys. Oh my gosh, it's little baby snakes. Look at that. Holy cow, these are little baby Mexican black king snakes. And so for all you people that have been going like, when is your baby Mexican black king's gonna hatch? Now you have the answer. They hatched. Oh my gosh, how awesome is that? Looks like this clutch is 2, 4, 6, and we've got 1, 2, 3 out and 3 more still in the egg. Look at that feisty little guy. What are you doing, you silly? Oh my gosh, these guys are so feisty. Oh, I am so excited. So now that these hatch, we know that all these other eggs are gonna start hatching relatively soon. So it is gonna be exciting. Boy, I gotta get that live webcam set up so you guys can watch these things hatch. I promise I'll do that as soon as I'm back from California. But how awesome is that, babies? Let's see if there's any other babies hatching. I don't know, because this clutch was laid a couple days earlier, but sometimes eggs will hatch out of sequence a little bit. So I'm just going to do a really quick check. No babies there. No babies there. And no babies there. So, okay, so at least one clutch is hatching, which is really awesome. So now I really am gonna get out of here, but I'm in a much better mood now that I know I've got baby snakes hatching. Another absolutely gorgeous night here in Michigan. As much as I love going to California, Michigan weather in the summer is absolutely incredible. And I'm gonna be bummed to be missing 9 days here, but there's some great adventures ahead. I hope that you enjoyed today's vlog. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are amazing, and I love you guys so much. Can you do me a favor? Can you smash that like button and hit that notification bell for me? Make sure to always turn on the notification. Be kind to somebody, and I promise I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.